Well, less than 16 hours until House Republicans unveil their tax bill, and several signs are indicating that a lack of Republican unity is behind this bill, especially for, well, how do we pay for it? And so where do they stand at this 11th hour? Here to discuss, Tammy Bruce, Fox News political contributor, Christopher Bedford, the editor-in-chief of the Daily Caller News Foundation, and Beverly Hallberg, president of District Media Group and a contributor to The Hill. Let me start with you, Tammy. It just seems like a mess right now. I'm just telling you right now, there was some questions of Kevin Brady right as we were coming on air. It seems like it is a mess. The only thing I felt confident is that he has a name for the bill. Yeah,
look, this is a perfect thing that I described when everyone's saying, do you think it's going to happen by the end of the year? I suggested not, just because of their previous behavior. Remember, Paul Ryan, of course, is known as being the budget guy. Remember, before he was the speaker, he was like the genius budget man. And you'd think that with them being in there, of course, for years, for decades on occasion, that they'd know what they'd want to do and how to manage their special interests, like homeowners associations, builders associations, that they'd know how to deal with this. Unless, of course, they just simply, again, don't want to do anything. This for them is that question.
Right.
Do you really want to do it? Do they really, really care? But it also now is the test for the president. He's got to get in there with this whole thing of phasing in the corporate reduction is insane. And he's got to make sure that they know that they'll be hurt if they don't cooperate.
Of course, Chris, President Trump is going to go on his Asia trip and leave his top lieutenants, if you will, in charge of this process. And I didn't think he was joking today when he told them this better get done. But to Tammy's point, it's the Republican leadership in Congress that I think that are fumbling the ball, that don't anticipate pushback. And now they're going to unveil a bill tomorrow that people are worried about.
In the House of Representatives, they get a lot of knocks. Paul Ryan gets a lot of knocks from the right, but he's largely passed the entire Donald Trump agenda. The U.S. Senate, the Republican Senate, hasn't gotten together as a party to pass a single part of the GOP agenda that I can even think of, and that's where he's in serious trouble. You've got Corker, who's saying he's probably a no. You've got Senator Collins saying she's probably a no, at least as it currently stands. And you have Senator John McCain, who doesn't even like leaving regular order and using this reconciliation tactic that they're trying to use. It looks like it's going to be extremely difficult for them to get anything through. And I actually would be a little surprised if they even had their entire plan unveiled tomorrow night, as they promised.
To your point, I think Kevin Brady is already kind of hinting that, hey, this is just the beginning of the beginning or the end or whatever, Beverly. And that it's going to continue to be a work in progress. So they're going to throw it out there, take all of the feedback, and then try to get it together by Thanksgiving. That timeline seems a little tough for me. How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, I think that timeline is tough, and I would rather see Republicans under promise and over deliver, something that they haven't done with this whole new administration that we have. But I think one of the sticking points and where we're seeing Chairman Brady really try to make a compromise is with the state and local taxes. But here's where I disagree. When you take a look at the SALT taxes, which they're looking at keeping a portion of it, you're basically saying that these high tax states like California, these blue states like New York, we're going to go ahead and bail them out, that the rest of the country is going to be the one that's going to have to pay for that. But I look to my fellow Californian Congressman Duncan Hunter, who has stood up and said, why should the rest of the country have to pay for California being stupid? So I'm hoping we can have some compromises, but I think conservatives need to stand up and be tough on what they think tax reform really looks like.
Real quick, Tammy, how do you see it playing out?
I think that we will not see anything with any detail tomorrow. I think there's going to be more back and forth, especially while the president is out of town. I don't see anybody in the White House having any kind of pressure that they'll be putting on. Delayed at least another week. I've said from the beginning, I don't think we're going to see anything by the end of the year.
All right. Thank you all very, very much.